He knelt, head bowed, not in a church but his own living room. Desperation clung to him, heavy as the old combat boots tossed in the corner. He was a warrior lost in peacetime, his battles fought in the trenches of his own soul. "Help me," he whispered, the words rough with disuse. "I don't want to be this way anymore." The silence that followed was deafening. He imagined the divine looking down, skeptical yet curious. Could this man, hardened by years of violence, truly change? Therapy helped, peeling back layers of pain, but the anger always lingered. He needed more, something to cling to. He stepped outside, the morning sun a searing indictment. His journey was just beginning. The coffee shop was crowded. He waited patiently, the aroma of roasted beans doing little to soothe his frayed nerves. Finally, his turn. He ordered, then stepped aside, phone in hand, a shield against the world. A jolt, a muttered curse. Someone had bumped into him, spilling his drink. He whirled around, fists clenched, the red mist descending. A young woman, flustered and apologetic, her eyes wide with alarm. "Oh my God, I am so sorry," she stammered, already reaching for napkins. He stared, his anger a physical presence, a beast straining at its leash, but something held him back. The woman's fear, perhaps, or the memory of his own prayer, so recent, so raw. "It's okay," he managed, his voice surprisingly steady. "It was an accident." He walked out, the encounter leaving him shaken but strangely exhilarated. He had won a small victory, not over someone else, but over himself. The highway was a sea of steel and frustration. He gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles white. The traffic was a nightmare, a snarled mess of impatience and aggression. A car cut him off, forcing him to slam on the brakes. He leaned on the horn, a long, angry blast. The other driver, oblivious or unconcerned, continued on his way. He felt the rage building, a familiar pressure in his chest. He wanted to chase the car down, to make the driver pay for his carelessness. But as quickly as it came, the anger began to recede. He took a deep breath, releasing the tension in his shoulders. He had chosen control over chaos, reason over rage. The bar was dimly lit, the air thick with cigarette smoke and the smell of spilled beer. He sat alone, nursing a drink, his eyes on the flickering television screen. He wasn't a drinker, not anymore, but sometimes the silence of his own apartment was too much to bear. A group of men laughed raucously nearby, their voices loud and boisterous. He tried to ignore them, to focus on the game, but their energy was infectious. One of the men stumbled, bumping against his table, spilling his drink. He tensed, his hand instinctively reaching for the glass in front of him. The man mumbled an apology, but his words were slurred, his eyes unfocused. He couldn't give in to the darkness, not tonight, not ever again. The park bench was cold beneath him, the morning air crisp and clean. He watched children chase pigeons, their laughter echoing through the trees. He had spent a restless night, haunted by the events of the previous day. He had come so close, teetering on the edge of violence, held back only by a thread of willpower. He knew the journey wouldn't be easy. The anger was a part of him, woven into the fabric of his being. But he had glimpsed another path, a path of peace and self-control. It was a path he had to choose day after day, moment by moment. He thought of the woman in the coffee shop, her fear replaced by relief. He thought of the other drivers on the highway, their lives a tapestry of unknown struggles. He was not defined by his past, by the mistakes he had made, by the anger he held within. He stood up, a newfound sense of purpose filling him. The journey was far from over, but he was ready to face it, one step at a time.